Hey, we are live and right in the edges of evolution. Welcome to Gene Key of the Day, friends. This is a very special moment in time where we're coming up to the full moon, lunar eclipse in Leo. So today, hi Stephen, we're going to talk about the patterns, the archetypal patterns that are at play in this poignant culmination, and what this might be stirring in our consciousness, and what's alive in all of us, collectively and individually. So, going into the full moon, we have the sun in Aquarius in the 19th gene key. And it's opposed to the moon in Leo in the 33rd gene key. So 19 moves from the shadow of codependence to sensitivity and sanctity at the higher divine essence. And 33, the opposite point that we're working with, is moving from the shadow of forgetting to mindfulness, bing, and to the city of revelation. So let's break down some of those codes before we play the game, because we are going to play the game. To me, what I'm tracking in this is that working with the Aquarian-Leo opposition and with these particular gene keys, that we're being called to break our codependence with the cultural norms, with the tribal mind that has dictated our conditioning around how we shine. Leo is all about how we shine our uniqueness and bring out our unique individual light into the world. And Aquarius deals a lot with the tribal mind and where we sort of fit into society and create new rebellious groups, communities, and cultures to counter, the conservative culture. But also there's this sort of hive mind going on in the Aquarian realms. It's also very tuned into the quantum. But I think when we're looking at how this lunar eclipse, it feels like an initiation, because the 19th gene key is an initiatory gene key. And an eclipse also carries this initiative power, like it's holding a special crucible around some kind of deeper shift in our lives. That we're engaging in an initiation to further develop this capacity to really carry out our unique light, and in a sense to develop our personal X factor and what we can share uniquely with the world. So there's a lot of patterning around how much we can shine, and a lot of our cultural conditioning and where we become codependent inside the web of cultural conditioning tells us you can shine this way, but not that way. And when we were young and we were, these just bright lights, many of us had the experience of revealing our authentic nature and then being shamed for it, and, being told that somehow wasn't correct. So we probably all are walking around with some layers surrounding how safe it feels to reveal ourselves. Like right now, just doing this video and putting it out there, and we're live and we have 4 viewers and just maybe 1 comment so far. Like, this is all kind of the terrain of how I might base my esteem off of what's happening out here. And I know that that's a whole thing in our culture with Facebook and the dopamine that we get. Ooh, I got a like, someone's here, you know. Am I basing what I'm doing here with the Gene Key of the Day on that? Or am I rooted in, this is actually my authentic message and this is my way of doing it and I'm going to do it regardless. So here's some of my Leo. I've been working with esteem a lot lately. And before I get into esteem templates, and then we'll play the game, because we're gonna play the game, I just wanted to say how with an eclipse and with these particular keys, we're coming into a self-witnessing, because the 33rd is mindfulness, and the moon and the sun coming over the moon and giving us that moment of reflection, of deep self-witnessing. And so we're witnessing into the subconscious patterns that I have around my esteem and my capacity to really shine my gifts. So consider that the lens is really coming into focus, and this is a great time to attune your beams onto, wow, how comfortable am I to like be unique and be in the spotlight and carry out and get, you know, come out from behind the shrouds, because Shadow Leo will sort of repress and remain invisible. I'm not comfortable with the limelight, so I'm just going to stay over here because my programs say it's not safe to shine. So let's look at that, because, you know, the esteem templates, this is a beautiful teaching that I've been receiving from Roberto Hotto, that is like, okay, so what are my wound patterns around esteem? When I was a child, how did you know, they tend to be survival programs. How did I like take on certain ways that I would gain esteem externally? So again, esteem is very related to Leo and this full moon of the eclipse. So my esteem template is a lot around performance and achievements and external sort of, yeah, like how good I did on the test or at the game, or, you know. And so I start to go into my programming and see, oh my gosh, I've found my value through all of these external approaches, but how can I, through this full moon and this initiation into mindfulness, which really, when we are mindful of our patterns, we are transforming the kinetic energy that is wound inside of these patterns. And we're really breaking open into new capacity to let ourselves just be seen and, you know, be vulnerable and authentic. So in burrowing in with mindfulness to see where are those patterns, we kind of, you know, we have to look at where there was those shame was taken on for revealing ourselves, and come down to like identifying what is the belief here. You know, we've talked a lot about beliefs in Gene Key of the Day, and it's just getting down to like, okay, what's the program? And then what are the things that have been running to manage that program? For instance, the perfectionist is really good at managing the program that it's not safe to like shine my light and make any mistakes or anything that I, you know, so I'm going to control reality and da da da. So there's all these layers of seeing ourselves, self-witnessing, and then breaking out of the patterns. I've been doing a lot of work around subconscious patterning and repatterning, and many people ask, well, how do I shift? How do I shift from my rejection core wound? How do I move from these survival, you know, programs and into new terrain and following that new narrative? And I think that there's like a multi-layered kind of routes that we have to take to truly transform them. And I'm sure to a certain extent we've all been on the journey, and it takes time, you know. On one thing, it's first of all, we just have to identify and see it. And this is where mindfulness and this self-witnessing lunar eclipse, where we get to really see this programming, we get down to that core. What is the belief? Name it. That's the name of the program. Bing, 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 right? We've been doing that. So then we take that, and there's many ways to understand how it's functioned and, to see more and more layers of the archetypes that we've recruited subconsciously to manage that so that it stays automatic and we don't have to constantly be thinking about it. But then there's this side of feeling, which is we can't really slap on a new narrative to the wounding, to the old program, without actually sitting in the pain. And this is like the presence process and Venus sequence, and really going in to just feel like, oh, I feel so uncomfortable when I reveal myself, and I'm vulnerable and I feel so exposed. I had this experience a month ago or so after a webinar where I exposed these really tender parts of myself. And I spent 3 days afterwards just feeling like my skin was just out in the world and everybody could touch it, and there was nothing I could do, and it was so uncomfortable. But I had to sit in that. I just had to be in that. And part of that is like eroding away all the toxicity, or just, all the matter and material that's calcified around that deeper place where the program is lodged, the trauma or so we get down in there through feeling and providing a safe space. And then my favorite part, this is where we take action to override the previous subconscious pattern and do something that fortifies the new narrative. So if I thought it was unsafe for me to shine my light, and right now I'm in an initiation with this lunar eclipse to really witness my patterns around esteem and breaking free from the codependence on what the culture is telling me I should do and how I can fit in, and how I actually need to, fortify the new program that says, actually, I am most safe when I'm being vulnerable and seen. That's my strength. Now I'm going to go out into my life and I'm going to do something that, supports that new thing. And I had a great experience of setting up an experiment for myself, and I've been doing it where I actually am feeling a lot of traction in these programs and in shining more of my light and letting myself be seen more. So action, setting up experiments and giving yourself just the right, nudge in a direction that we may have anxiety and fear around, because it's like overriding some deeper conditioning that's gonna feel uncomfortable, but we just have to break through. And then we tell our subconscious mind, you didn't die. Yay, you didn't die. Look, it's okay. This new program is based on thrival, and it's gonna, it's gonna take us further than we could have gone with this old one. So yeah, I just wanna say that in basic sense, the moon is in the 33, which is around witnessing the pattern. And then the 19 is about pivoting and from that pattern and making a new approach to life. So that could be the action that I was saying. Sensitivity as a gift is about approach. How do we approach life? And and it's dealing with how do we liberate ourselves from the webs that we're tied into and blaze our own trail, but then be knit into the fabric of society. So before I roll the dice or pull a card and play the game, because I do want to get to that, I do want to mention how Jupiter is pinging me right now and telling me, hey, I've got something to say in this whole matter. And that is Jupiter's in Scorpio, and I've talked a lot about this process of blowing up, the unconscious shadow aspects, so that we can really alchemize, and that's what's going to help us through this overturn of corruption and true healing of intense pain that we're all in contact with in humanity, is that Scorpio is the realm of shared resources. This is a relational, emotional terrain where we meet the resources of other people. So, you know, you hear like shadow Scorpios, like jealousy and being threatened and like not being able to share power. And I was like, ooh, this is really relevant for Leo and building up esteem to shine. And then the question is, how do we share the shine? How do we share in the spotlight? I think that's such an important thing to consider. Because I might do really good, like building up my new, you know, establishing inner value and turning on more light. But what happens when I look out and I see someone doing something similar to me, or shining in that way? And this is part of my programming, and I'm sure a lot of us in the Western culture have been bred to compete. You know, how do I share in the shine of another? This to me is one of the most important questions, because we really aren't going to make it through anything if we can't work together and collaborate and share our gifts. So I think it's beautiful to lean into the discomfort of another person shining. I have a lot of Scorpio, so this might be more in my programs, but you might resonate and see the places where we might feel threatened, like there's a scarcity of light or something. And I get it with theater. It's like you got a spotlight and there's only a certain diameter, and it's really nice to just see that one person's unique light. But then the spotlight shifts and there's room for everyone in our own ways, right? And then there's this beautiful weave of how that can come together. So I just wanted to presence that. And I think that what I'm going to do is pull a card as if we already rolled one of the sun or the moon, just to honor the eclipse. And I will say before I pull a card that you might notice that the sun and moon are conjunct to the lunar nodes. And to me, this is a really important aspect of this sort of initiation. Not only is it an eclipse, and the 19th key is involved, and this is like an initiatory key, but it's also aligned with this sort of, okay, as the nodes move through the chart, this is like the edge of where humanity is being like, hey, let's really grow into this area. Let's really integrate the stuff from over here. Let's integrate the tribal mind and all of the like cultural, like, you know, fitting ins and rebellings, and let's really grow into how brilliant of lights can we be. And kind of like how Uranus has been transiting Aries, let's liberate the individual to serve the collective. So let's pull a card. And by the way, thanks for tuning in, everyone. It's really cool to be live. I've been doing these videos for a number of years, and I've mostly just recorded them. And I realized that I love having an audience. That's part of the Aquarius Leo conversation. Leo is the performer, Aquarius is the audience. And there's something that always stimulates, you know, vibrant information at that time by being witnessed. And that might not be there if I was just talking to a screen, you know, like I know you guys are all there. And my voice is like golden nectar. Oh, I hope I pull the singing card. So hopefully I mean, I'll say that I will sing today. These are the cards that come along with the game. If you didn't know, this is a game as well. So you can actually have one of these wheels at home and track the transits in your chart. But it also doubles as a contemplation game for your community, you know, or you and whatever group of people that you're in. And so what we do is we roll the dice, and there's a whole instruction. Read your instruction booklet. I'm not going to tell you how the game plays, but it is involved with these contemplation cards. So I'm going to draw a card for this lunar eclipse involving the sun and the moon, and we'll see what arises. Okay, so this is interesting. we've pulled a transit card, which in the game itself, this is more like a move. It's like, oh, I'm the planet Mars, and now the card has told me go 4 steps forward, and this is part of how the game goes. So it says advance, move to the first key of the next zodiac sign. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the sun out of its placement in the sky. How dare I move the cosmos with my mind? And put it in the first key of the upcoming sign, which is Pisces. And then we're going to intuit what this might mean. Astrology is a series of cycles upon cycles. So we're always in a continuum and a holographic conversation between many elements, many archetypal elements, all in their own cycles that reveal, truth, or reveal whatever inner processes we as individuals or as a collective psyche are undergoing. So if you notice here, we have Neptune and Chiron in the sign of Pisces. They've been there for a while. Chiron's been in Pisces since 2011, and Neptune even prior to that, or maybe sometime around then. But here we have the sun being called through our little oracle to the 55, which is the first gene key inside of Pisces. The 55 is one of the master key codes, and it's bringing our attention there right now. And what I just want to share is that in a number of weeks, about 3 weeks or so, we're going to come into the 55. The sun will transit into the 55. And so we're basically looking into the future right now. And I think what the stars are telling us is that, okay, we looked at the full moon lunar eclipse here with the sun in the 19, and then it said, hey, look forward to a few weeks from now when the sun hits the 55. And let's carry the continuum of this initiation of breaking free from the codependence of our tribal mind to liberate the shining of our own unique light in order to create a dramatic, this is all about the mutation within our DNA that breaks us from basic victim consciousness into freedom, into true freedom. So I think what's being seeded here, and this is totally just one interpretation to something that we could find many meanings to, is it's drawing our awareness back to how all of this weaves itself into the greater collective story, that the work that we do here to break out our unique light, be mindful of our patternings around esteem, and come into greater sense of inner worth that then is sourced like a sun from inside us. As we do that and shine our unique light and share our resources with others and do this collaboration thing, we are triggering the mutation of freedom inside of our DNA. I'm just going to say it like that. And, this Pisces, it's like, okay, enter Pisces. Pisces is weaving us back into the consciousness of, that we are all unified. So Aquarius is very quantum, but it's like now be in the quantum, feel it, and reweave it with this immense healing. Chiron and Neptune have been doing a very deep healing dance inside of the oceanic aspects of our consciousness. So Chiron brings us into awareness of the wound. It's been pinging our awareness around the oceans and the emotions and all of the wounding inside of these places, the very real, oceans of the planet. We started to feel the pain, seeing all these, intense devastation out there of this natural resource, as well as our own natural resources of emotions. And then Neptune kind of brings in this healing balm and really starts to bring that mystic into our consciousness and is rapidly integrating us into one world consciousness. And here's the sun saying, somehow this eclipse is doing that with us. So freedom for all, do the great work, and we are mutating. I think that's what that said. So let's pull another card, and I think this time we're gonna roll the planet dice. So we have the planet dice, and we just did one for the sun and the moon, basically. And we're gonna roll and see what planetary energy and force and capacity within ourselves is being called forward for introspection. Neptune. So, of course, Neptune was just presenced, and Neptune is, as I said, in Pisces. It's in the 63rd gene key, moving from doubt to inquiry to truth. So, visionary inquiry, visionary truth, and the delusions of doubt. And so, let's pull a card and see where our contemplations take us. Now, I love the game of having someone pull the card. So is there anyone out there, and I know there's sometimes a lag with comments, is there anyone out there who wants to pull a card? You don't have to really necessarily do anything. You're not forced to do anything that you don't want to. I'm kind of the guinea pig here on camera. Yes, Philippe. Wonderful. Yay, it's good to see you. Okay, so Philippe is going to pull a card. Ha! Yes! I love this one. Okay, it's a creative contemplation card that has us contemplating the 63rd gene key, which is Neptune, through visual art. So create a drawing or painting representing this key. Now, Philippe, you have the option to make a drawing yourself, take a picture of it and post it to the comments, or to like go find a painting or something online, an image that you would think is represented by the 63rd or Neptune or Pisces, anything to do with this. And don't feel pressure. So, but I feel the pressure because I'm the one that gets to channel this. Okay. So, Neptune is our capacity to surrender. And this is my white notepad. What colors? Bing, bang, boom. Okay. So I'm just going to clear my mind. I'm really not a visual artist, so I'm just a little nervous that I'm not going to do it. Hey, your esteem is not in the quality of your drawing. This is not about achievement, Amelie. This is about playing creatively. Here's the marker. Okay. So the capacity to surrender and bringing the healing balm of the Piscean mystical awareness into the 63rd gene key of doubt, inquiry, and truth. Okay, here's the delusion of doubt. We live in a life that's separate in the mind. So we have a basic separation, and this is the whole, like, the Piscean wound is like, Pisces knows that we're all one consciousness. We're all one. But we don't know how to manage what that actually means in being multisensory and being able to feel everything, and how do we... So we start to take on programs that manage the discomfort, and we actually live a life of separation. So here's the delusion of separation. And doubt. Like, this is what I want to, like, let's say this is a forehead, and there's, like, this person's making this, like, face. Like, okay, you get it. There's a couple sides to doubt. There's, like, I'm suspicious of you. I don't trust you. How can I trust life? And then there's the, I don't trust myself. I'm unable to actually go in and experience my own mystical nature, my own imagination. Okay, so imagination is a key word for Neptune. And doubt stifles the imagination. Let's open this up a little bit and say that as we start to kind of create spaciousness, this marker is dead. You're dead to me. That's purple. Okay. As we start to create spaciousness in the mind, and this can come through any which way, but basically when we stop being in the frustrated, doubting, I don't even know my ground because Pisces doesn't have one, and actually open up into the spirit of one consciousness, which is, you know, kind of a divine thing, but here's a gift that's coming in. We start to open our mind and see this is still the man. Like this is, or woman, sorry, the being. This is still the human with the nose and with the eyes. See, I'm a really good drawer, guys. They're looking that way. I hope you can see this. Yes. Okay. We start to open our minds and turn that intense like need to know and understand and all of this. We turn it and we just make the inquiry into life. We open our minds and then we're filled with all sorts of wonderful images and things like clouds and bunnies and things that are very Piscean in nature, like whales, and we tap into the actual visionary nature of our mind that reminds us that we're all woven together into one consciousness. Truth is we are the illumination of the mind on a cosmic level that sees all things at once, and Neptune is bringing us into that deeper surrender into our the capacity for the mind to open up on a divine level, our mind to actually touch the divine. So that's a little bit of what just happened. I don't know how to do it. Yeah, everyone has their own way. You're doubting yourself. See, there's medicine here. Yeah, this is where we have an idea of what it's supposed to be, or like, you know, is it supposed to be like this? You know, it's supposed to be exactly what it is for you. So, you know, this isn't also just do it right away. Like, okay, make an art piece, go, or like go find an art piece. But I would say, muse yourself with the Neptunian archetype and the mystical quality. Like it's the mystic that brings us into contact with our creative gifts, that reminds us that it's safe to shine because we are, you know, all one, right? We're like totally all one, man. Yay. Awesome mushroom. Yeah, right? That was a little mushroom guy. And Philippe, you said, I was trying to find an image online and post it. So I want to also say that, again, take your time. There's no pressure. By pulling a card, it's a fun game. I did that last time and it was just this fun way to do it. There's no one way to play this. Thank you for participating. And I think what's beautiful is that you've just exposed this vulnerability, and you obviously have enough esteem to know that you're safe. Really, you are being the good student. And the good student can be one of those subconscious archetypes that manages this feeling of inadequacy. I actually believe that I'm not of value, or, you know, whatever way it gets in there, I'm going to take on the good student so that I don't have to ever face being wrong, you know, or whatever belief is in there. Yeah. So this is coming back to, and this, by the way, is all weaving into, so how did that drawing and our exploration with Neptune draw us into this full moon lunar eclipse where Leo is on the stage and we're self-witnessing our esteem templates. So this is good medicine for you. You are the best. You are the best. We are all the best. Isn't that just awesome? We're so special. We are so special. I've been working with this pattern in myself. I'm like, I'm freaking so special. And that person's special. Right, that person's really special. Oh my God. I have shame around being special. I was shamed for being special. Is it okay to be special? Yeah, it's okay to be special. All right, friends, I'm thinking that we'll do another one because this game is really fun and it looks like we still have people here and I have stamina. Let's roll the dice again. Okay, let's collectively bring our minds into one point and ask what planet is here to reveal itself to us. I love it, Jupiter. Jupiter! I'm so glad we're laughing. The buoyancy of Jupiter is here. The buoyancy of the shadow. Bringing Olympus down to Hades. Bringing Hades up to Olympus. Jupiter is in the sign of Scorpio at this time. So let's pull a card and explore this aspect of the psyche. Oh, right. Who wants to pull a card? I had someone who said they wanted to before, but we had already had a volunteer. Carolyn. Are you still here, Carolyn? I'm going to spread the cards and give you time to respond because there tends to be a lag. Okay, so here's our cards. And we might... Oh! We have Justin saying he wants to pull. Okay, Caroline, you have... Okay, we're going to do Caroline first, and then we'll do Justin. And yes, Brandon, you are tuned in. You knew that we would roll Jupiter. We would roll Jupiter. Okay, Caroline. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Caroline. I'm going to say Caroline. Jupiter. Hello, Jupiter. Hello. Ooh, nice. Okay. This is a life card. So in the game, we have the opportunity to contemplate the gene keys. There's the creative contemplations with like art and theater. And then there's the life cards where we contemplate them. How does this key? So we can say also Scorpio or Jupiter, or the gene key of 43, which moves from deafness to insight and epiphany. When you show the cards, they're backwards. You can't read them. I'm like, here, look. Okay, so that's literally backwards. That's so funny. Okay, how does this key challenge, deafness, challenge, and support, insight, support? How does this key challenge and support your home life? Interesting. So what this might point to is someone who has this planet or this sign in the 4th house. That's just a little, under the, behind the scenes sort of, home life is the 4th house in astrology. And by the way, that reminds me that it's really good to always, when we're talking about like, oh, boom, lunar eclipse, where is it in your chart? Because like it could be conjunct your natal Jupiter, or it could be on your ascendant, or what house is it in? Is it going to be affecting your relationships, or is it going to be affecting more your career? This is all looking at it in the house placements. My butt is sore from sitting on this stool. Okay, give a little stretch before we... How does this key challenge and support your home life? Carolyn, feel free to share because you pulled this card, so please go on this inquiry with me. Deafness, insight, epiphany. Let me just take a moment to really feel this. Oh, the eclipse is on your IC. Oh, this is perfect. Fourth house. IC, for everyone who doesn't know, is the like the artery, the main artery down at the roots of our chart that begins the fourth house. So it represents like the amplification of all things fourth house, which I'll say is not only home life, but it's family, it's ancestry, it's our roots, it's where we come from. So this can, the fourth house and the IC in particular can be a very dynamic area where not only we're engaging our current family system and the structures that sustain and support us emotionally and in our home life, but also what did I inherit from my ancestors? So I would say for you, this eclipse on your IC, we're talking about breaking codependence and from the tribal mind. And a lot of times we have pressure from our ancestry, from our conditioning down at that, deeper roots level of our familial cultural conditioning that influence how much I'm able to bring out to that MC, that zenith of the chart, which is naturally being pinged in your chart now too, because the eclipse is a polarity. The IC MC, it's on this axis of empowerment of how do I stand up and in the face of my conditioning, yet honoring where I come from, actually bring out my skills and gifts to this world. And, Scorpio, we're talking about Jupiter here right now. Somehow, Jupiter in Scorpio is coming to weave into this eclipse for you because you pulled the card and it drew us there and we rolled that dice, and somehow you can go on the contemplation of, okay, so what is being unearthed from my subconscious that wants to show me the ways that I loop in unhealthy dynamics with other people that involves the theme of my esteem, my empowerment, my self-worth value, and how much I'm actually able to then bring out my own gifts, but then share those gifts with other people. We talked about that earlier. So that's brilliant, just to weave into your story and to add in that layer of contemplation of, the relational realms. How does the Scorpionic relational realms connect to this eclipse for you? And how to move from the scorpion to this snake who's aware of its programming, mindfulness, the gene key being illuminated by the moon and the lunar eclipse, mindful, the snake, to the eagle who's like, pow, seeing the whole thing, watching the patterns play out, but not engaging them in the same way, not being pulled in as much. And now all the way to the Phoenix. These are the 4 stages of Scorpio. Again, introduced to me by one of my teachers, Robert Ohado. Seriously, check out his work. He's brilliant. Jupiter on my MC. Oh, wow. This is super relevant to you. Yeah, but I'm dancing it out. Great. You have your creative medium. Beautiful. Okay, I think that's as far as we're going to go with that. It's on my MC in the eclipse and Jupiter's in my second house. Yeah, so this is all great. People are sharing where these energies are bringing them. The second house has everything to do with value, how much we value ourselves. So that's very in alignment with the Leo archetype of esteem. Okay, I think we're going to do one more because my butt is sore. People, my butt is sore. And I love you, and this is super fun. So Justin, if Justin is still here, and the sun is like coming through the window right over my face. If Justin's still here, then we can pull a card. So, yeah. Yay. We'll just give a second, but Lisa, with it's on my MC. Yeah, so similar to Caroline, this is influencing your kind of axis of empowerment and bringing about your gifts out into the world. So it's a vulnerable place. The MC is where we're on display. So something is wanting to come out and shine and be seen. So let your soul incarnate into the ego and bring about a service. This is the MC 10th house. Yay, Justin, okie dokie. Awesome. Okay, Justin's gonna pull a card. And oh, we didn't roll the dice. So actually this is cool because then it'll be consistent kind of transmission for Justin. So here's the planet dice. And I think collectively, let's all just put our mind into what planet and what archetypal energy wants to express itself right now. But definitely through the embodiment of Justin. Perfect, the moon. So the moon is, you know, we've been focusing on the moon pretty much this whole episode, being a full moon and lunar eclipse in Leo in the 33rd gene key, from forgetting to mindfulness and revelation, which I'm glad that we rolled this because there's more to mindfulness that I think wants to come through in tracking like what's happening right now in the collective and in our personal lives. Okay, so Justin, we're going to pull a card. Poetry. I'm just laughing because the last time that I pulled the poetry card in the previous session, I just bombed it. It was like, it was so bad. I did the worst poem ever. So I think this is like, these are the gods just challenging me to get beyond this place. Justin, if you feel called, and again, there's really no pressure, to write a poem and to post it, yeah, it's art. It's art today. Please go ahead and post your poem to the comments there. And again, we're focusing on the moon, self-reflective capacity to deepen into breaking codependent patterns inside of our wounding around esteem. And 33 being a very Buddhist key. It's in the Ring of Trials. Maybe I should just rap about it because it's my poetry. But just to give you an idea, you know, this is ending cycles. And okay, so I'm going to use this chance because someone wanted me to sing today. And so I'm going to use this chance to say my poetry is going to be sung/spoken. Okay, I'm just gonna like look at my keywords here. Mindfulness, yeah, forgetting. Okay, all right, everyone, it's performance time. It's Leo performance time, and I'm in a column of light. All right. Hey, have you forgotten where you come from? Hey, it's all source, it's all light. The sunlight reminds us we're all one. So where do I cast a shadow of my own individuation to fall upon my life and show me that it's not alright to be a one, an individual inside of the whole of what we are? It's the paradox of creation that shows us that it's somehow there is shame in the shadow, but I am just a one, and I am having a lot of fun. So I free my mind to see the pattern, to track myself along the waves, and notice where I get swelled up in desires to be something special, or wanting to hide again, forgetting myself under shrouds of conditioning that was not mine. of condition that would turn me alive by alchemizing into perfection, where the purity of my mind puts me through a resurrection of revelations, forming from within, where I see that I can be much freer than I've been. Oh, I feel the weight of forgetting, I feel the weight of samsara as the cycle is spinning, spinning. But I don't think it's about having no desire, it's about seeing all my desires as the one desire to be free, and letting it all come out through this infinity of love that I am. This light that's coming through that reflects my individuality onto you. Which is, you know, you're also an individual. And then together we just are the one sun ray of light. Source, the sun, shining, omnipresent, it's light. We're all just in this band of frequency. Thank you all for tuning in. It's so wonderful to be here awake, you know, like turning on deeper places in our minds and awareness to see some of the more uncomfortable places and set ourselves free inside of that. So thank you again for tuning in, and happy full moon and lunar eclipse. Ride this initiation as far as you can. Oh, and great, Justin has a poem. So before we end, we're going to recite his poem. So thank you, Justin, for vulnerably revealing yourself. He says, and these are his words: blood running through the space in my heart, based in the darkness of being. Light coming through like the moon reflecting on the water, expanding through the cracks of the unknown. That's so beautiful. Thank you, Justin. Oh, I'm so glad. Yay, and Monique with your new baby. Congratulations with the baby. Baby went to sleep. Oh. Lana Kea, I think, is maybe the name. I might be saying that wrong, so please excuse me. Many blessings to everyone. Happy full moon eclipse, and I love you all. It's hard to end this video, but again, my butt is sore. My butt is very sore. Oh, right. Oh. Goodbye for now.